Michael Ma, who is this? Watch Hong Kong, born Canadian, MP Mattel, career civil servant that claims of forced labor in Xinjiang, China, are hearsay, blatantly defend the CCP. Witness forced labor. Witness, I worked closely with human rights researchers, did witness it.
Answers for the following questions for Ms. Krager Johnston. Do you have an advanced degree in technology and cybersecurity? Yes or no?
No, but I
Thank you.
have
So
I have spent
like I said,
37 years
I
in
need to
that
get short answers,
business.
please.
Okay.
The other one is you belong to the China Strategic Risk Institute. So does this institute specifically look for risk when there isn't one? Yes or no?
No,
So why is it a risk institute?
because it's analyzes risks that are obviously
Thank
there.
you. So the last question then is, you claim about forced labor in Shenzhen. Have you witnessed this yourself? Have you been there ever?
I've been to
Sorry.
China many times.
Have you witnessed
since
forced labor in Shenzhen?
1979?
Have
No.
you witnessed forced, just a short answer. Have you witnessed forced labor in Shenzhen? Yes or no? So did you get that
I
from
work closely
hearsay?
with Human Rights Watch, where researchers
Okay.
did witness it.
So thank you.
Okay. Like, what's their what's their definition of forced labor? Because I feel like this is just two people with different definitions. And if she didn't witness it herself, she worked with Human Rights Watch. I mean, well, I want to open. Okay. Alleges that Michael Mann told her after the committee meeting that he doesn't believe in reports about Chinese forced labor in Xinjiang. He said to me, I don't believe in reports. I open this one too. Just get an AI, do a little bit of a deep dive. We'll ask Gemini, is there think about close that.
After the meeting, I gave him a copy, my own copy of the report. And he said to me, I don't believe in reports. I don't believe in anything I can't see for myself. And he said, you and I should go to China to see if we can see Uyghur forced labor. And I said to him, they would never show you Uyghur forced labor. You know, the only people who see it are the ones on the ground in China who are being subjected to it. And I've been sanctioned by China for my work on the Uyghurs, including forced labor and other issues related to the Uyghurs,
so.
bringing Uyghurs from other countries to Canada. And you know, clearly, I think he overplayed his hand. After the meeting,
Let's see what this tells us. The question of forced labor in Xinjiang, I know I'm not saying that right, is a subject of significant international debate involving conflicting reports of global human rights organizations and the Chinese government. I think I would believe the global human rights organizations personally. International allegations and evidence. Numerous international bodies, including the UN, the International Labor Organization, various human rights organizations have raised serious concerns regarding state-imposed forced labor in the Xinjiang Autonomous Region, XUAR, much easier. UN findings in January 2026, UN experts expressed deep concerns over persistent allegations of forced labor affecting Uyghurs. That's how it's spelled. Okay. Tibetans and other minorities. They report that these practices are often facilitated through state mandated poverty alleviation and labor transfer programs. The experts noted that the level of coercion is so severe it may amount to crimes against humanity. The International Labor Organization 2025 report, ILO's Committee of Experts recently highlighted that forced labor in Xinjiang extended beyond former internment camps into broader industries involving long-term imprisonment and large-scale transfers of surplus rural workers. Okay, let's hear what the Chinese government has to say. The Chinese government consistently and vehemently denies all allegations of forced labor. Their official stance includes the following points. Poverty alleviation. Beijing maintains that these programs are voluntary initiatives designed to lift rural residents out of poverty by providing vocational training, stable employment. Counterterrorism. Officials, like, this was the place, was this the place where they would light themselves on fire and protest? Or is that Tibet? I think it's happening in both regions, right? Because it mentioned Uyghurs and Tibetans and other minorities. Yeah, Uyghurs, Tibetans, and other minorities. So they're using it in more than just one place. Economic progress in 2026, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson described the allegations as fundamentally groundless and a slander, asserting that the development and improved living standards in Xinjiang are evident to all. So China went through the Great Leap Forward. And from what I understand, they see that as something that was like beneficial, even though millions of Chinese died during it. Mao is largely seen and it's like a revered figure for pushing the country forward. And so how the Chinese see these things is no doubt going to be different from how an international labor organization sees it. It's not that this isn't happening, it's are they actually trying to is the Chinese government actually trying to alleviate poverty, push economic progress, and are the is it working? Like, I mean, they seem to the UN seems to have deep concerns over it. I mean, usually that's the organization I would personally trust. Let's see. Global responses and current statuses. The international community has taken several legislative and economic actions in response to these reports. Trade restrictions, sanctions, corporate exits. Okay. Summary of the conflict. UN, human rights groups state that there's state-imposed coercion, surveillance, and labor transfers constituting forced labor and crimes against humanity. Chinese government states that there's programs are voluntary vocational training and poverty relief efforts respect human rights. Let's see. People have to say. Okay, this is back to here.
Due to the time limit, I'm going to be asking for a very short.
This is how. Let's just look this up. See what shows up. Autonomous region. There is a false narrative that Uyghurs are the only ethnic group living in Xinjiang. That is not true. These minorities living. Okay, so there's a bunch of minorities. This isn't about what I wanted. Okay, here we go. Experts from the United Nations has released a statement expressing their alarm over the number of Muslim minorities in China, namely am I saying that right? Working in forced labor camps across the XUAR of China. Official language. The Uyghur population is skyrocketing. Islam is practiced in over 24,000 mosques. No Muslim country supports smear camp. Uyghur Autonomous Region on Friday. The venue is brightly lit and bustling with excitement as residents delighted in the thrill of skiing under the stars. What is this map? I like maps. Whoa, that's a large part of China. There's only like 1.4% here, but some of these regions, 96. Why is that one at 12.5 listed as number one? Uyghur demographics and extraction. Glaring mistake is that map. So, how can we find are doing just fine? I mean, that'll probably get us what we're looking for. U.S. sanctions take effect, aims to support local companies, feels Washington suppression, trying to undermine human rights. American propaganda versus the truth. I mean, it's all fake news. Let's see. China isn't killing Uyghurs. It's all fake news, misreporting China's war on terror that the U.S. was a partner in, and it's pretty much over. Bus bombings and killings. Didn't Putin say no one can match propaganda ability of USA? That's my post. China's kill Muslim Uyghurs in East. Of propaganda. I say that this photo is greater incitement of or forklifting certification practices. Remember, kids, when it comes to any suspicious claims cooked up in the Pentagon, every accusation is an admission. I mean, we're definitely on the part of people that want to believe there's nothing wrong with the Chinese Communist Party. But how much truth is there? Like, I've been hearing about the suppression of the Uyghurs for a long time. Like, they live basically in a surveillance state at this point. But how far that goes, social credit system, all Chinese basically live in a surveillance state. Can I look up like what the UN actually said about it? United Nations, Uyghurs, United Nations. Let's see if that gets us. What? All right. No joke. Chinese regime tells the UN Human Rights Council they are committed to the promotion and protection of human rights. That the million plus Uyghurs and Tibetans in so-called re-education camps voluntarily participate.
The Chinese government is committed to the promotion and protection of human rights. The claims of cultural genocide are purely nonsense. The relocation programs in Xinjiang and Xizang follow the principle of voluntary participation. The Chinese government is
sometimes things that are voluntary are not voluntary. Uyghurs' protest of China today during UN review of China's treaty obligation. Like, Geneva. So that is not, I to say, like, are they protesting in China? That seems like a bad idea. The protest of China in Geneva. I mean, small protest, but at the same time, how many Uyghurs have left China? Let's have a look at this one. Vacation. There. The UN Human Rights rejects the motion to debate the Uyghur Muslim genocide on Thursday. Population 12 million. They were given an autonomous region exempt from one child policy. Well, that's probably why their population is growing. Uyghur language is on the Chinese paper currency. A mystical form of Islam. They drink mild alcohol, enjoy music and dance. Uyghur culture is all not only protected but promoted by Chinese government. There are many famous Uyghur actors and actresses, athletes, singers, dancers, politicians. I mean, the UN's a pretty trusted body. What did the UN report state about the Uyghurs? Where can I, how to spell that? The primary document issued by the United Nations regarding this issue is on the OHCHR Assessment of Human Rights Concerned in the XU Autonomous Region, released on August 31st, 2022. Since then, the UN has issued several follow-up statements, including major updates as recently as January and February. Let's hear what they have to say. The 2020 report concluded that the extent of arbitrary and discriminatory detention of Uyghurs and other Muslim groups may constitute crimes against humanity. Key findings include mass arbitrary detention. The UN found credible evidence that a large scale system of vocational education and training centers was used for arbitrary detention. It rejected China's claims that these were voluntary schools, noting that individuals could not leave of their own free will. The Guardian. I open it. Arbitrary detention. The report found that there was an acute risk of arbitrary detention and that it was reasonable to conclude that a pattern of large-scale arbitrary detention occurred in vocational education and training center facilities, at least during 2017 to 2019. It pushed back on the claims that we just read. Okay. Torture and ill treatment. Report documented credible allegations of patterns of torture, including the use of tiger chairs, restraint chairs, beatings, and waterboarding like interrogation techniques. Sexual and gender based violence. Interviewees provide accounts of rape and sexual humiliation. UN described these reports as credible and noted a lack of effective investigation into these claims. Reproductive rights. The report highlighted an unusually sharp rise in sterilizations, IUD placements in Xinjiang compared to the rest of China, suggesting the use of coercive family planning policies. Okay, what's the update here? 2026 update. Forced labor and transnational repression. In early 2026, UN experts and committees released updated findings that suggest the situation has evolved from mass internment towards a system of state-controlled labor and global surveillance. January 2026, forced labor. UN experts expressed deep concern that forced labor has become formally consolidated through the state-mandated poverty alleviation program. They stated that the level of coercion in these labor transfers may amount to enslavement, crime against humanity. UN experts raised alarms over transnational repression, specifically citing the case of 40 Uyghur men forcibly returned to China from Thailand. The UN warned that these individuals face a high risk of forced disappearance and torture upon return. Recent statements have focused on the forced assimilation of Uyghur children through state-run boarding schools, the systematic erosion of the Uyghur language and religious practices. Assimilation. I mean, like, that's all pretty damning. The UN has officially called on the Chinese government to immediately release all individuals arbitrarily deprived of their liberty, repeal all discriminatory laws, policies targeting Uyghurs and other minorities, best allegations of torture, sexual violence, and forced labor through independent bodies, provide information on the whereabouts of missing family members to their relatives abroad. I mean, that's all pretty damning. I've been hearing about this for what, 5, 6, 10 years? I mean, that sucks. It's hard to play those claims off. Like, the easiest way would be to let news organizations go in and talk to the Uyghurs, right? And interview people there. And I'm not seeing that. Interview. See. Okay. Not finding what I want. Yeah, I'm not seeing any kind of interview. I mean, it'd be pretty simple to disprove all these. I do not see that happen.